Hey, how is everybody? My name is Al. Welcome to Dark Side Reviews. This is our spoiler-free review of the Rise of Skywalker. Let's start with the good. So one thing I can say that is really good about this film is the visual impact in certain places in this movie. The film does come across with very powerful visuals that really do immerse you in the story, and visuals that feel consistent with what you would expect to get from a Star Wars movie within the Star Wars universe. So they do a really good job of visual storytelling in certain aspects of this film. Unfortunately, that is the extent of the good that I can talk about in this film. Let's talk about the bad. So the first thing that struck me about this movie was the lack of creativity in the storytelling. This story feels flat, at times it feels boring, at times it feels very unimaginative, and it also feels very, very derivative in a lot of different places within this story. And not derivative in the sense that we are trying to give you elements that are consistent with the things that you are used to within the Star Wars universe, but derivative from the standpoint of it kind of felt like lazy storytelling. There is nothing really new or powerful or imaginative about the way that this story is told, not to mention that the story feels very disjointed in how it's executed. I was also really surprised at the performances in this movie, which I didn't feel were really strong either, and I was surprised by that given who we had casted in this film and the fact that we know that they do very good work in other movies. I can only think that their performances were hampered by the writing, which wasn't very good in this film, not to mention that some of the jokes that were placed in this film were poorly timed and they didn't land either. And I also think that the writing affected the chemistry between the players in this movie because they did not feel very connected. Holistically, the film doesn't carry enough emotional weight, and it tries to with the execution of the story, but they never are able to make you kind of feel the consequence behind what is happening in this story. I think the film also suffers from some very bad CGI in spots where it's quite evident that you are looking at something computer generated. And I also feel that this movie wasn't directed very well, which also caused the story to suffer in terms of its execution. And I was really surprised at some of the camera choices and shots that Abrams and the other director chose in filming this, because I didn't think that they were very conducive into helping the flow of the story. So the Rise of Skywalker does have some value in its visual appeal, and whether or not you go see this movie really is up to you and how big of a Star Wars fan that you are. I will say, just holistically speaking, that this is a film that's not very enjoyable, it's not done very well, and it's not something that I would recommend that you go see. But what I would recommend that you check out is that right there. That is my ranking for my top 10 shows of 2019, and I would love to know your thoughts on how I rank them. I'll meet you over there right now.